out the time to decide if this program, is something that you're looking forward to putting your child in. So this is our parent workshop. Our agenda tonight is to define dual language, to understand the benefits of participating in a dual language program, the expectations, our organization and routine, some different applications that we use, and support resources. So what is dual language? It starts with, we have Spanish-speaking English language learners that are entitled to services. So there could be students coming from a new country, or students that are testing on the nicest slot where they are at a level where they're needing extra support. So we're putting this program in place to support those students, but then we also will have native English speakers or English dominant students that are committed to participating in the enrichment program. So then that in turn comes out with a two-way dual language Spanish immersion program, which is what we offer at our school. What is a dual language program? Dual language programs seek to offer students the opportunity to become bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural while improving their academic ability. In the majority of dual language programs, the students receive half of their instruction in their primary or home language, and the remainder of their instruction in their target language, the language they are learning. However, there are other time configurations that exist. For example, in a 90% to a 10% model, a greater percentage of the instruction is in the target language other than English, and decrease over time, reaching a 50-50. But what we offer at our school is a 50-50. Students learn to speak, read, write in two languages, and also learn about other cultures while developing strong self-esteem and diverse language skills. So here are the benefits of what your brain looks like while you are in a bilingual program. They provide unique and powerful opportunity to strengthen child's highest cognitive brain potentials through deliberate literacy development in two language and authentic exposure to rich language experiences. Research shows that bilingual people have an easier time with these key brain functions. So understanding math concepts and problems, developing strong thinking skills, cultivating greater cultural awareness, increasing reading comprehension, using logic, forcing, remembering, and making decisions. Mental health is important. A multilingual brain is quicker, nimbler, and more resistant to Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. Academic performance. Students in dual language programs consistently outperform monolingual peers on state-mandated tests, regardless of demographics. Preparation for the future. Bilingual adults have several advantages over monolingual adults, including higher average salaries and greater career opportunities. So overall, it's a win. And then I'm going to let Mr. Purston take the baton. Do you want me to continue to present?
Absolutely. I was definitely going to take advantage of Mrs. Steinhauer's generosity of being Vanna White, because that doesn't happen very often. But you can be the Vanna, Ms. Rizzo. Nice job. Ms. Rizzo, you said something that was very important. The advantages of a program like this are immense. There's no question about it. But the program is not for every single student. And this is where I think we need the input from the parents. It's tricky coming into a kindergarten program, starting where we do in Fallsburg. No one is a better judge of their child than the parents are. And so they're the greatest asset to start asking these very important and integral questions about, is this type of program for my child? So one of the things that we've been doing this for quite a few years now, and there's some things that don't work that we tweak and plenty of things that do work. One of the things is the child really has to buy into a program like this. They have to be motivated. They have to want to learn a new language. And I think that's why we're presenting this to the parents. It's not just so your child can have a conversation with a Spanish-speaking student on a bus. It's much more vast than that. And so being eager to learn these two languages simultaneously, kindergarten is a demanding grade to begin with. And so we have students that are learning 30 sight words in English by the end of the year, but now it's 60 because they're learning sight words in both English and Spanish. So again, we just can't reiterate that enough with how great a program like this is. It's good for a certain type of individual. And again, this is where the feedback from the parents, and part of the reason I think that the administration wants to put this out to everyone so that we can kind of make the best decision with the input from the parents right from the get-go to make sure that this is the kind of program that's going to be sufficient and a program that your child can flourish in. As Ms. Rizzo has said, your child will be fully immersed in both languages all day, 50-50, with an expected outcome of not just reading, but writing, speaking, listening in both English and Spanish languages. Some kids struggle with the ideas of transitioning. And while that is something that a lot of kindergarten kids iron out with the routines and structures and things like that, it's certainly something to take into consideration in regards to, what your child can handle, what they're capable of doing, because there will be transitions with kids going back and forth. Also, they'll be dealing with different teachers, not just one teacher, but two teachers, two different teaching styles. And although there is a lot of collaboration in that, it's a little bit more demanding, for the kids. My favorite slide of the presentation. Being bilingual is my superpower. This is true. There are so many advantages of this. It's hard to explain to a 5-year-old kid that they're going to have excellent job opportunities and windows and doors are going to open for them and all of those things. But we know that it's true. And we know that they're using both hemispheres of the brain, which is going to in turn help them with decision making across the board. And I think another point to talk about is, especially if you have a child who has gone through other programs in Fallsburg or any other school for that matter, things do not move as fast as they do prior to this. Your kids are definitely have a lot more on their plate, and things definitely move at a slower pace. We definitely strive for quality versus quantity, and that takes time. And teachers, we take a lot of time to kind of establish and go over those routines with these kids. And again, we just want to put everything out there so that the parents are aware of what the program is about. We can go through some of these, obviously more job opportunities, the use of both of languages to think and to learn, to give your child a different perspective, a unique way for looking and understanding the world. And we all know that there's, the United States, we're the melting pot, right? And so there's many different languages, and this is certainly right from the get-go in kindergarten, getting your child thinking in that direction. Okay, so we don't have to spend too much time. This has been a crazy year. We are all aware of it. Back and forth. You can't see the gray hairs in Mrs. Steinhauer's head, but I can assure you that there should be there, and she's nodding her head. We have gone back and forth between hybrid models, remote learning. We can't thank the parents enough for their flexibility. We understand that kids have to be with babysitters, and nothing is ideal. But there are certain things, certain variables, if we can just kind of control a little better, teachers can be a lot more efficient with how they're delivering information and how your child is accessing that information and learning about it. So simple things as far as having headphones. Lots of times there are different siblings in the house with different teachers. It's just a simple thing of putting a headphone in so that each child can focus and concentrate on their own teacher is certainly beneficial. Also, if at all possible, to provide adequate spacing for them. Lots of times there are echoes, and even just a couple of feet or a different room could be an ideal solution to that. So finding a quiet area. We can see your child when they're watching Paw Patrol on television and the reflection is going off their faces. We're trying to read a story and to do things like that. So again, just a lot of common sense things aside from the quiet area and the headphones, making sure that that there are no other distractions, or limit those distractions as much as possible. And also, helping to have a schedule for your child. Now, in school, this isn't a problem. Teachers spend a lot of time throughout all the grades establishing those routines and those procedures, and kids thrive on that. Where it gets tricky is when we go back and forth and there's remote learning, and let's hope that it doesn't come to that next year. But the one thing we can say now is we can be prepared. We don't have to build this ship midair. We've been there, we've done that, and we know what we need to do to maneuver through that. And of course, that requires involvement from the families and the parents at home. And just to give you guys another plug and thank you, because we know how difficult it's been for all of you, at the house for that. So again, and just some more kind of pictures and things to kind of go off as far as setting up a routine and a schedule at home, especially in the younger grades. We really try, we know it's very difficult for a child to sit in front of a computer for hours on end, even with breaks in time. So teachers try to put together packets. Administration has been great in supporting us with how those packets are going to be picked up. And so while the teachers put that much time and effort into what books and programs are sent home, and we'll go through that with the families, even keeping a basket or something in a central location, or in a book bag if your child is going to a babysitter or something like that. So they have everything available for them, because as we know, time is limited and we want to be as efficient as possible when we're teaching and delivering this information. And together we can help establish this routine. But again, fingers crossed, we're going back full time and this will not be an issue. Some of the learning apps and things and programs that we use are all accessible. The tech department at the school worked very, very hard. Everything's accessible through ClassLink. We spend a lot of time in the beginning of the year. Again, this is kind of keeping that remote model in mind, going through with the families on how to log in. Papers are sent home, spending the time with the families over the computer to go through, just to make sure that we know passwords and codes. But once you can access and your child can log on to these Chromebooks, they have access to Seesaw, to Freckle, to Remind, which is a new communication device that we're going to be using, so that parents can send teachers messages in real time and teachers can respond to families in real time. Raz Kids, all of these great programs that we want to make accessible to the kids, and we want the families to understand how to access it, to either challenge their child at home or to make sure that they're at least doing the work that they need to do to stay on grade level at the time. I think that was the last slide, right, Ms. Rizzo? So, Mrs. Steinhardt, I'm not sure if you want to open up to maybe some questions at this time, or...
Sure. I do have a question. Could you share a little bit about Imagine Learning? I know that, you talked a little bit about the remote, but, we're in right now 5 days a week, and we do have the students that are still accessing these programs, and you're teaching them in the classrooms as well. And a lot of the programs they are using in your classrooms. So could you explain a little bit about Imagine Learning and how the students use that, whether they're Spanish speaking or English speaking, and how they use both of those programs to support that instruction? Any of you could chip in, chime in to do that.
So what Imagine Learning is, normally when we were in school regular, we would have like a 20-minute time limit, but just with the hybrid model, we've changed it to 10 minutes. But what it basically does is help your child learn Spanish at their level. So it's just like, Freckle, the other programs that we have, where it starts them off, they take a little, like a pre-assessment, and wherever they are, they just stay on that level until they progress. So every day we just expect them, when they come in the morning, they're going on that program and getting that out of the way. And it's just kind of reinforcing any skills that they're learning in the classroom. And also, again, it's like at their level, and then they keep progressing. Like once they're finished with the 10 to 20 minutes, depending on, what we do next year with the school year, they'll get a little star and they'll see, okay, I just finished this level, and they get really excited. So it's very user-friendly for the kids. They want to see their level up. So I know, like in our classroom, every time they go on in the morning, they move their clips up. So it's an incentive to get their work done as well. When they were home, we also required them to go on every day for 10 minutes as well.
And it's also important, right, Ms. Rizzo, to make sure that these students are the ones that are utilizing the program and the work, and not getting very limited help from families, because as you said, it does adjust to their, to their ability level.
Absolutely. Yes. It's making sure that the students are doing it independently, just like when we're in the classroom, if there's something that they don't understand, we just say, try your best, and it'll just keep them at that level until they progress to the next one. So it's really encouraged that you're not helping your child with any answers, because then when they come into, a question that they have no idea about, they're confused because it's not at their level and they haven't learned it.
So now we're in our 5 days, right? Which is very exciting. And the plan is that in September, we'll be back full 5 days. So what are you expecting for the parents, and how to support at home, say with like the homework, those types of things that would be coming home on a regular basis, and how to support in both languages? What would be the expectation if they're going to go into the dual language program? What do you as teachers have as the expectations for them for that homework help or that support when maybe the parent at home, they don't speak Spanish, but they want their child in the dual language program and they're not quite sure how do they support their child who is trying to learn language, but they themselves may not speak the language? Any supports for parents that way?
Well, I think that's one of the trickiest thing. It's a very good point that you bring up, Mrs. Steinhauer. We, especially in the inception, in the beginning of the year, these kids are, and we're aware the kids that are opting in that have families that are not Spanish speaking, for those kinds of things. The activities, we try to, I think, assign activities that limit the difficulties with those languages that are in there. But again, I think that's a good opportunity for that Remind app to be used to send messages to correspond with teachers so that we can access the Mrs. Serranos and the Miss Reyeses and the Miss Espinosas of the program to kind of help out as far as doing that. But also for parents to understand that the teachers are very aware of that. And that's something that we try to, I think, deal with as much as possible. Again, when we're in school and hopefully 5 days a week, that becomes an easier because we have those resources readily available. At home, it tends to be a little bit tricky with those programs.
But also the families, when we have open house, we will make sure to give them, different websites that they'll be able to use, and Google Translate, is also acceptable to help. But for the most part, when we do send home homework or anything that they have to finish, it is at their level, of learning. So we're not trying to send them home something that is way too advanced for them. And as always, if there is a question, you can always reach out to us or write a note on their work, hey, we have no idea what to do on this sheet. And, of course, your child would never be penalized for that. So we would come, when they come in the next day, we would help them, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback off what Ms. Rizzo said. It's anything that we give on the Spanish zone part of it would be something that we have already instructed in the classroom. It wouldn't be something new to them. It would be something based on the lesson that we have taught, or review, or something that they should be able to do independently on their level. But again, if they are having difficulty, the most important thing is, they try it and then you just let us know if they had difficulty with it. And that's something that normally, I know on the first grade level, we would take care of in the morning work. They didn't understand it. Okay, let's go through it. Let's, see what it is. And sometimes it's just a matter of them just needing that person there, that support, that they might actually do know what they're doing. They just need someone to push them along. Yes, you have it right. Yes, that's what you were supposed to do. So that is not a big deal for us in that aspect.
So do any of our parents have any questions for us? So just that you are aware, we do start the program in kindergarten, and it is going up to 4th grade and beyond as we keep growing. But students can participate in the program at any point, any new year. So if they didn't start in kindergarten, it doesn't mean that they can't start in another year. The teachers are aware of that. We do have students that move in, but we just really want to make sure that our parents understand what the expectation is. So it's, a few parents did feel, or have shared with us, oh, I thought my child was just going to, learn a few phrases, and kind of it be an elective that we would typically see, say, in high school, where you would just have one period of that subject. But in our program, the students, as our teachers have shared, is they're immersed in it. So it's all day. So they're immersed in English and in Spanish. So it's not just a one period. We're taking Spanish at this point. It's all day that they're having it. And our teachers are amazing. They work with the students, and they, are in our Spanish zones. Those teachers do speak in Spanish, and the students who may not understand, they'll share and redirect them in English and then bring them into Spanish. And the same thing in the English zone when the students are there. The teachers help those students through it. So both of the students, it's amazing to see, how the relationships that the children create and the family atmosphere that's created in this program. They really help and support one another, because both groups are learning a new language. It's not just one group that's learning a new language. They can, that empathy is there. They realize, this is not easy to learn a new language, and they really grow and support one another in that way. And it's really wonderful to see. And I know that the staff can attest to it more than I can, but, and just what I've seen, it really is amazing how they help one another through learning the language. And, you have those that are stronger in Spanish that are then helping those that don't know Spanish and teaching them. And then those that are stronger in English that they're trying to help and support those students that are just learning English, and it really does make that an amazing family connection for those students. And it's, testament to our students and the staff here that support the program and run the program for us as well. So I think there was a question. Let's see. Let me just, so there was one question from Ms. Ocasio. Do you have to keep signing up every year for the dual language once you're in? Great question. No, if you want to stay in, what we do is every year we send home a letter to all the parents who have their children who are participating in the dual language program, and ask them if they want to stay in the program or choose something different. So they just need to let us know if they want to continue or not to continue. Majority of our parents want their children to continue in the program. They see the benefits of it and want them to continue. And then if we have openings in the program for the following year, then we open it up to our other families who haven't had a chance to participate, and they can participate. We also have another question you might have is if your child was in dual language and then they were not in dual language, like for example, this year, we had some students who were in it and then, changed to a different learning model and couldn't be in it. Can they participate next year? Absolutely. So there is that fluidity there, but, we do have that. But if you're staying in it, we do ask that you just let us know that you're interested. And if you want to opt out, you do have that option to do that. So thank you for that question. Does anybody else have any questions for us? No? Okay. Well, if you do at any time, please reach out to us. We're here to support in any way that we can. Thank you to those families who are here and are supporting our dual language program. We do appreciate it. And thank you again to our amazing our staff here that helped to join us tonight and to share that information with you. So this will be recorded. So if you know of people who are interested in the program, we will publish this on our site, our BCS Facebook page, and also the district website, so that parents can access it at any point if they want to know more information about our program. So thank you so much. We hope you have a great evening.